A little bit of a delay due to a clock issue in the building. Looks like they've straightened it out now. And Jake Elliott puts the football back on the tee. Tony Pollard, 5 yards deep in that Cowboys end zone. Final game of a wild week 3 in the NFL is underway. And it is, in fact, Dak time. Prescott said he would reflect on the year that has been during the national anthem. We might have caught a little tear coming down from there.
I was watching him, and certainly it was emotional, and rightfully so. Great to see him back on this field.
And now he's all business. All business. Focused strictly on that Philadelphia defense. Prescott comes out throwing, and able to complete to Dalton Schultz. A lot of people not there on that Eagles defense, Lewis, as for the players who are, however.
Look, there's some good players in this football game, period, Steve. And I'll tell you, look, start with Dallas's offense. We know Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. That's a great 1-2 punch. CeeDee Lamb, he's a multi-dimensional player. Remember, Grease talked about Javon Hargrave. He's going to have his name called a lot tonight. And Darius Slay, let's see what role he actually plays tonight. Is he going to have to be a shutdown corner? Can he play on his side? He's going to have to make some plays, that's for sure.
To the ground. There's Zeke. And he has the first down yardage. Dallas is on their way. No Brandon Graham on this Philadelphia defense. The longest tenured Eagle suffered a season-ending torn Achilles last week against the 49ers.
Yeah, the big question there is the leadership that's lost, but Fletcher Cox certainly been around long enough. They've got some veteran pieces to fill in for the missing Brandon Graham.
Got Pollard and Elliott both in the game at the same time. Dak wants to throw underneath at Zeke. And he's out to the 45-yard line.
Boy, and right off the bat, Derek Barnett was on top of Dak Prescott, and Terrence Steele, who's starting his second game for the suspended Lyle Collins. They were not happy that he was laying on top of Dak Prescott, but listen, this is a rivalry game. Anything goes.
Yeah, Derek Barnett is a good pass rusher, man. That was a nice counter move, worked back up in the pocket. Dak got the ball out quick, or on time, rather. He's going to have to be mindful of this Philadelphia pass rush because they can get after it.
Got Connor McGovern in there at fullback, the 6th offensive lineman.
And they're running right that way. Ezekiel Elliott on a beautiful hole opened up by McGovern into Philadelphia territory for a gain of 8.
Mike McCarthy told us they're going to use Connor McGovern in this game. They don't feel like they have a good option at fullback, and they want to run some power schemes. So they bring him in. You see he hits the linebacker on the weak side. Great cut by Zeke and a nice gain.
And motion Elliott back into the backfield with Dak under center. On 1st and 10 off the play fake. Elliott wants a deep shot, middle of the field. He's got it. CeeDee Lamb going to be just short of the goal line for 44 yards. Working on Steven Nelson.
And you're going to see CeeDee Lamb just take off and make a beeline for the goalpost. Middle of the field is vacated, and that's exactly what Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, told us he doesn't want to happen. He doesn't want the ball thrown over the defense's head.
And the rivalry continues. John Parry is with us as always. John, this is one of those you want to settle down early. There's the flag.
Yeah, this type of rivalry, you take charge as soon as you can. Emotions are high for this one.
Could be a long night for Brad Rogers, our referee.
After the play, personal foul, 97, defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
That's Javon Hargrave, and he was somehow got caught in the middle of the huddle for the Dallas Cowboys. He was trying to get back to his huddle and just shoved one of the linemen down. An easy call for the official.
About 6 inches from the goal. That's McGovern, and there's the fullback. Give it to Elliott. Drives it home, and for the touchdown. couldn't start any better for the Cowboys.
Yeah, you just see Ezekiel Elliott here just follow Connor McGovern. And you just see, look, you see the second effort here. It doesn't stop his feet. He's going to continue to push. Jarwin comes in and gives him a little bit of a shove. Look, they want to play the downhill power type of game against this Philadelphia Eagles defensive front, especially Grease, if they sit in too high safeties and don't support the run, you're going to get a steady dose of that tonight.
Zerline on for the extra point. And it's all good for Dallas early on. The Eagles have given up 2 touchdowns all season now, and that's one of them. 6 plays, 75 yards. And the Cowboys in their home opener in business.
On my wall when I was a kid. I mean, I'm just sitting here watching. I'm going, I didn't get to see him pregame. I didn't get to see my guy Tony Dorsett pregame. We had to come back up here.
And you feel great for some of the old timers. Drew Pearson going in this year. What a great class that went in for the Cowboys.
Is there anybody smaller who hit harder than Cliff Harris? Wow. Zerline for the touchback. And so now it's up to Jalen Hurts to match that first drive from Dak Prescott. Hurts became a big star after that Week 1 victory, both on and off the field. How about his jersey sales? Increased 500%. That's better than Eli and Peyton's ratings after the first week. And he said the rent's due every day. Be a better quarterback every day. When that rent's due, I don't plan on missing any payments.
Well, he's got some rent due in this game for sure. When the Cowboys come out and go right down the field and score, you know the pressure goes squarely on this Eagles offense to keep up.
Pulls it out of the belly of Sanders. Hurts wants to throw across the middle of the field. Has Dallas Goedert well into Dallas Cowboy territory. And down to the 36. It's a gain of 38. And Jalen Hurts says, I'll show you.
Well, Jalen Hurts is thinking they're going to get a lot of zone coverage from Dan Quinn, the new defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. They get man-to-man right off the jump, and it's Trayvon Diggs in man coverage for a big gain.
Hurts again off the play fake. Goes to Quez Watkins. I think he lost a piece of equipment. Jordan Lewis knocked him out. Might be a mouth guard there. The star watch on this end.
Yeah, a couple of matchups that I'm really looking forward to. Devontae Smith against his college teammate Trayvon Diggs. We just saw there. And then Lane Johnson, the crafty vet right tackle. He draws the assignment on the rookie sensation, Micah Parsons. Talking with Micah, he says, you know, I had a great game last week at defensive end. I'm going to be back there again, but Lane Johnson's a different animal.
Zach Ertz is in there, just activated off the COVID list. Jalen Reagor can't get there. And the Cowboys do with Anthony Brown. Able to pick off Hurts. And that is the first turnover of the season by this Eagles offense.
And this is something that has shown up on Jalen Hurts' tape. Not getting the ball down the field far enough. You see, he just doesn't drive that ball downfield. It should be halfway, 5 yards into the end zone and allow Reagor to sprint to it. Instead, it's grossly underthrown. And as you mentioned, the first turnover for the Eagles on the year.
Full games. Dallas just getting started here tonight. Less than 5 minutes into the first quarter. Cowboys football. The Anthony Brown interception, momentum carried into the end zone, so the Dallas Cowboys will start at the 1, and Dak will give them some breathing room for 4.
It's going to be important here that the Philadelphia Eagles try to start playing the field position battle and see if they can get off the field and give their offense a short field. The one thing they can't have happen, we talked about it in the open, you can't have coverage assignment busts in the back end and let this team get hot and throw the football over your head. On the big play to CeeDee Lamb, it was a miscommunication and a technique error on Steven Nelson. They cannot have that anymore, or this game could get out of hand for them.
2nd and 6, just inside the 5. Dak from his own end zone, lost the football. Comes out, the Eagles have it, and it's a touchdown for Philadelphia. Fletcher Cox, the heartbeat of this Eagles defense. And just what Philadelphia needed to answer.
Touchdown, Philadelphia.
And again, it's Javon Hargrave. We talked about him. He's been the most disruptive defensive tackle in the National Football League through the first 2 weeks of the season. And right there, he affects the game, Louis.
Yeah, you see, he went after the weakest link on the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, center Biadasz. That's who he just took and drove him back into the lap of Dak Prescott. Look, he told us, he said, coming from the 3-4 in Pittsburgh and going to a 4-3 last year, he had to get used to getting up on his toes and getting off the ball and playing with penetration and get off. Well, I think he showed you right there. He's made the adaptation. That's a big-time play by the Eagles' defensive line.
Here's Jake Elliott to tie the game, and he does. Philadelphia's first takeaway of the season results in 7. And we're back in 30 seconds after this word from DraftKings.
At DraftKings, the fourth quarter can earn you a lot of quarters. $20,000 worth, to be exact. Win your share with DraftKings fourth quarter pools. It's free to play in all 50 states. Answer questions before the quarter starts, like who scored the last touchdown? It's another way we're making any given weekday a victorious one. Download the app, use the promo code, enter to win your share of $20K, and make it rain. Laundry day.
When we talked with Jonathan Gannon, first-year defensive coordinator for the Eagles, about overcoming the loss of Brandon Graham, he said, how we start from an emotional aspect will tell me everything I need to know about our team in absence of Graham. And so we saw the fire and emotion, pushing and shoving at one end, and then the big defensive score to tie the game.
Well, and Javon Hargrave, we talked with him this week, and he could not wait to play in this rivalry game. He came over last year, but during COVID, couldn't really have an opportunity to even get to know his teammates. And this year, the difference for him, getting off the football, he has impacted in every single game so far this year, and a huge turnover to start this one. This was the push, the personal foul. He got stuck, and he just levels Connor Williams there, which then he takes it out on Biadasz.
Yeah.
And what a smart design here from Jonathan Gannon, having him rush over Biadasz, not Zach Martin. Clearly an advantage for the Eagles.
Third Cowboys possession, and we've only played 5 minutes. It's Elliott picking and choosing. Out to about the 29, Josh Sweat, the tackle for the Eagles.
And if you're going to slow down this Dallas offense, they're throwing it, they're running it, they can do both. But you have to get penetration from the 4 up front. And so far, the Eagles have been able to do that.
Prescott to throw, and complete. It's Amari Cooper. His first grab, good enough for the first down. Cooper, I thought he was playing with bruised ribs. Then we found out it was actually a cracked rib from the opener. So he's been playing with a flak jacket. Good enough there for the first down. Elliott beyond the 40. Hit hard as he spins off Kayvon Wallace. Run of 8. And there's an injured Eagle down. It is, in fact, Wallace.
You're going to see Kayvon Wallace come into the screen here. And look, Zeke is running with physicality, man. You see he goes low there and catches him with that left shoulder. Look, for everybody who thinks, and you hope Kayvon Wallace is okay, but for everyone who thinks that Ezekiel Elliott has lost a step or isn't running with the same physicality he is, this guy is a load, and he's going to be a factor all night.
Eagles are already short at the safety position. That's Rodney McLeod. Not going to go tonight with a knee injury. Next man up philosophy all over the league. Say hi to Marcus Epps. Will play in Wallace's spot for now.
Boy, don't be surprised if Dak Prescott challenges Epps right off the bat. They've already had one explosive to CeeDee Lamb down the middle of the field. Why not take another shot?
Back to the ground game. First down yardage And a flag comes in. See if the Eagles got caught too many players on the field.
Yep, they sure did. Derek Barnett not hustling off the field.
12 players in the formation defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator. Eagles, the only team in the NFL with head coach, offense coordinator, defense coordinator, all under the 40 or younger. So they're just establishing their relationships with the stripes on the side, the officials. There's Tony Pollard. He's got the burst, and it's a first down. Gain of 11.
This is what we were talking about, Lewis, before the game. You have Ezekiel Elliott who can pound you between the tackles, but what Tony Pollard brings to this offense, I believe, is different. It's a different spice, a different flavor, and a different tempo, especially in those perimeter runs. He has the burst that Ezekiel Elliott doesn't have.
Prescott to throw. Working on CeeDee Lamb. See if Darius Slay got there too early.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. Ball's placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic, first down.
And he did.
And Darius Slay, easily their best man-to-man coverage defender. And you see he gets a good read on it. Great break and drive, just gets there a little bit too early. It's interesting to watch what Dallas is doing already. They are trying to read these safeties and read the rotation pre-snap and see if they're going to sit in 2 safeties high or they're rotating down to 1 safety high and have one-on-ones on the outside. Those 2 safeties stay deep, they're running it. If Dak sees the safety coming down, they're trying to exploit the one-on-one matchups on the outside. And Jonathan Gannon talked to us about that, saying we have to do a great job of disguising.
First down and 10. Inside the 35. Prescott steps and fires. And it is juggled and dropped. Dalton Schultz was rocked by Marcus Epps, the replacement for Kayvon Wallace. Epps does a good job breaking that one up.
A great job by Epps. He was in conflict. He's right here. Both these tight ends are going to come up and they're going to run a scissors combination. And this is all to take advantage of Marcus Epps being in there. But Epps gets turned around. Watch, he gets turned around and then recovers. And at the last minute breaks up. That's really well done.
That he can help himself by playing with a little bit more depth, but you're right. That's great athletic ability. Because usually that's 6.
Here's Pollard running between the tackles. Stopped by Eric Wilson. Pick up a 7. 3 penalties tonight already on defense for the Eagles. They lead the NFL in penalties. That has been a problem. And just about even with offensive and defensive penalties. 3rd and 3. Prescott to Blake Jarwin, fighting for more yards. He's inside the 20. And another flag comes in.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 22. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
The penalties keep on piling up for Philadelphia.
These are the kind of things they cannot afford to do. And you see Marcus Epps coming here at the end as he's trying to change the momentum. He inadvertently grabs the face mask. These are the kind of errors they can't afford to have, giving them free yardage.
First and goal from the 9.5. Give it to Zeke. Oh, Zeke, powerful, taking on people. And pushing the pile inside the 5. Forward progress will give him the 4.
That was Anthony Harris. That was down the safety, down around the line of scrimmage, and CeeDee Lamb came to block him. But watch Zeke just put his shoulder down and deposit Anthony Harris on the 4-yard line.
If you think for a minute that Ezekiel Elliott hasn't heard people talking about the fact, hey, Tony Pollard's taking some of your reps. Hey, you've lost a little bit of your, a little bit of your juice. Hey, you're getting paid too much money for what you do on this football team. Then you're crazy.
And that's a great thing for him.
Absolutely. He's sending a message right now saying, I'm still here.
2nd and goal, flip it to CeeDee Lamb, trying to get the corner. Won't get there. Be taken out for a loss. Darius Slay made sure of that. 3rd and goal.
That's a nice job by Philadelphia of playing this wide receiver end around and making sure they contain it and don't lose leverage on it. You can see it right there. Patrick Johnson with a very nice job of stringing that thing out laterally and making sure that he can have his pursuit buddies come and help him out. That's good fundamental defense.
3rd and goal from the 6. Prescott has plenty of time. Elliott's wide open. We'll see where they spot him. They spot him in the end zone. The call is touchdown.
You're going to see here Darius Slay gets high load. He has a corner route coming in behind him, and he sees Ezekiel Elliott in the flat, and he's trying to midpoint it and play both of them, and try and split the difference. But when you got Ezekiel Elliott, man, you might want to jump that a little bit faster.
I think he may have been short there.
He sure is.
Yeah. That left knee was down, and that ball looked like it was a little bit short of the end zone.
All scoring plays are reviewed in New York. John Parry, you got this short, right?
Yeah, if you take a look at that left hip, when the hip is down, the ball is short of the goal line.
That's an area of Ezekiel's game that he has grown with, the receiving element, to turn and flip your hips like that, catch that ball, and then try to reach to get to the goal line. That's not easy to do. I agree with John. I think that's a little bit short.
After review, the runner was short of the goal line. It's 4th and goal, Dallas.
And I don't think there's any hesitation or question from Mike McCarthy that they're going to bring the offense back out on the field and give it to Zeke maybe one more time, see if he can get it in.
John.
Yeah, 2021. This is a replay official assist without a formal review. Nice job upstairs making this short.
Yeah, that's really helped this year. Speed the game up, and coaches don't have to challenge. I think that's a great addition this year in the NFL.
Replay reviews and reversals both cut in half. 4th and goal. Dak wants to run for it. Waiting for the signal, and the ball comes out, and let's see. No one has indicated touchdown yet, except the Cowboy players.
Boy, Dak was in there and extended the ball.
The ruling on the field is the runner was short of the goal line. It's 1st down, Philadelphia.
Wow, what a stop by the Eagles defense.
He tried to extend it late. But I'll tell you, look, they're trying to go right over Zach Martin.
Look at this angle here. He reaches that ball over, Lewis. He's there. They haven't blown the whistle, and at the very end, he reaches right there. To me, before that ball comes out, that's the angle you got to look at to see if he crossed the line.
Tell you again, Javon Hargrave does a nice job right there initially.
See if you can see the ball from this angle down the line.
Well, he definitely gets it across late.
Let's see if they fix this on the change of possession.
Dallas is challenging the ruling on the field of the runner being short of the line of gain. The previous play is under review.
Again, the ruling on the field is so important. It was not a touchdown, and from the angle on the side, you couldn't see the ball. I think the angle you can see the ball is from above, but that's not directly over that end line, so you can't have definitive evidence. This is a tough one.
First time Mike McCarthy has thrown the challenge flag in this young season.
You see when he's down in that pile, and before he lifts his head up, you can't really see if the ball breaks the plane. Right here, there's no way to see where the ball is at that point.
Again, the call on the field is that's an Eagles stop, and it's Philadelphia's football.
Again, there's nothing that I saw there that was clear and evident that that ball crossed. I mean, I think based on the look from above that it was a touchdown, but you can't say definitively beyond a shadow of a doubt. So I wouldn't be shocked if this stands.
Here's what New York is looking at right now. John, a thought?
Yeah, you know what? It just feels like a score to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. We don't have the best angle to really confirm it, but when you piece some things together, where are elbows of other players? Where's the ball in relationship to those elbows? I like it as a score. Is it clear and obvious based on the videos? No, but I like it as a TD.
Well, when you say it feels like, right, that's saying there's a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, I mean, can you change the call because of what it feels like?
No. Your gut tells you.
I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys fans would like to have it changed.
Such a big play, too. 4th down.
And such a close call. You can tell by the amount of time it's taking.
Yeah. Well, and take the time here, right? Like, you put some metrics in place, some tools in place to speed up the game with the automatic reviews, but this is one you got to get right.
And I just told you that replay reviews and reversals have been cut in half in this young season as we wrap up week 3.
When they take this long, though, maybe they're right. Maybe they're doing what JP is talking about, piecing things together as to where that ball is with different frames. They have the ability to do that.
Well, it's going to be one of two things. When it takes this long, it probably should stand, or they're gathering the administration information
After
they need.
review, the ruling on the field stands. It's Philadelphia's football. 1st down. Dallas has charged their first timeout and their first challenge.
We've played less than 10 minutes of a quarter. We've had just about everything already in this game tonight.
Yeah, that's a good job by the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line, though. And Javon Hargrave in particular, of resetting the line of scrimmage. You see Dak can't even get his feet going when you look at the replays. He can't get any momentum going. That's a good job by their defensive front.
And also on the previous play, the effort to get Ezekiel Elliott down before he got in proves to be a huge play.
Darius Slay, big time.
From inside the 1, so now both teams have started with the football from inside their own 1-yard line. Hurts to throw out of the end zone, nearly intercepted off the fingertips of Zach Ertz, and Jordan Lewis would add him an easy touchdown.
What we say as defensive backs all the time, tips and overthrows, you got to get them. And when you're sitting here in zone coverage and you got a team backed up right there, I know that kid's on you, bang, bang, very fast. But just think about what this crowd would have done and what it would have done for your football team had you picked that off and just walk in.
Would have been one of the shorter pick sixes in history. Hurts to Devontae Smith, his first grab of the night. Pick up a 5, going to bring up 3rd down.
And now a 3rd down opportunity. This crowd is in the game, affecting the cadence, and you're playing without Jordan Mailata, the starting left tackle. Andre Dillard is in there. Keep an eye on Micah Parsons, number 11, matched up on Dillard on the left side.
No Brandon Brooks as well. Got a rookie Landon Dickerson at the right guard. Third and 5. Protection is good. Hurts trying to run out of there. Very close to a safety. And now we'll throw it away. And the crowd roars its approval.
Yeah, and that's something Jalen Hurts is going to learn from. You do not want to extend plays in your own end zone. The reason why, he knew that he could get out of there, throw the ball away, and not have a safety. But the problem is your offensive line. They're trying to hang on, and it's very close. If they get a holding call, that would have been 2 points. That's why you don't run around in your own end zone.
Hanging on can lead the holding, exactly. Aaron Sipas. Watch those heels in the back of the end zone. Got it away. Cedric Wilson. A short punt. Should have a return from his own 45. And just across midfield. Sachere. Time. And the first meeting on Monday Night Football all the way back to 2008. 27th primetime game since 1970. That is tied for the most common matchup in the NFL. Here's Tony Pollard, the ball carrier. Across that Cowboys star at midfield. And down to the Philadelphia 44. Wilson made the stop. Pick up a 6.
For as strong as Zeke has looked, you do see the difference, though, in terms of tempo when Tony Pollard comes in. You see how quickly He was able to jump that ball out on the perimeter and get downhill in a hurry. And he's a guy who said, look, do not make no mistake. I will run the ball between the tackles, but he knows he can get outside whatever he wants. And there was a good example of it.
We asked him on a scale of 1 to 10 how he likes going between the tackles. He said 10.
There he is
again.
And listen, everybody wants to make it a controversy about Zeke and Tony Pollard. It doesn't have to be that way. You need two backs in the NFL. And listen, Ezekiel Elliott is still a good back. He's not the back he was 3 or 4 years ago. I think people would agree on that. And Tony Pollard brings something different. They're going to need both of them. And to me, Tony Pollard has a little bit of Aaron Jones in him. That ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and be explosive in the passing game to go along with pounding with Zeke.
Keep feeding Pollard, and why not? Wilson to stop, gain of 7. Mike McCarthy told us we got to start banging the ball, and that means running the football. And he was already looking towards the end of the season. He said we got 3 East Coast trips late in the season, 2 in December, 1 in January. They closed the season January 9th in Philadelphia. 2nd and 3. Prescott to throw for it. Got it. Dalton Schultz took a big shot from Marcus Epps. Has the first down, pick up a 12.
This is what happens, though, when you start banging the team with these runs. Just watch what happens here at the second level. Watch what happens to the linebackers on this play fake. Look where they are. They're up in the watch. They don't even know where Dalton Schultz is. And see, that's good play calling as far as Dallas is concerned. That's how you set up the pass. That's how you really utilize play action to its fullest. And they've got it going right now on this drive.
From the Eagles 20, and they'll blow it dead.
Oh, Dak might have a gripe here. Why did you blow it dead? You know, let me throw this ball down the field.
False start.
Oh, that's why.
Offense, number 19, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Got his own guy, Amari Cooper. Looks like Javon Hargrave is not in the game. He's on the sideline with one of the trainers. They're working on his midsection there. Be a huge loss if he's not able to get back in this football game.
Back to the 25, 1st and 15. Pollard gets the penalty yardage back inside the 20. Pick up a 6. Alex Singleton makes the stops. And we're seeing Elliott and then Pollard, and sometimes we'll see them together. They played 12 snaps together in the first 2 games. Saw them together at least once tonight, maybe 2 snaps. Played on the same snap 21 times all of last season. So that's just another wrinkle for the Cowboys offense. Prescott wants his tight end. Schultz, touchdown, Dallas.
Give credit to Kellen Moore. In the red zone fringe, he came right back to the same play that he had against Marcus Epps. He's targeting him right there. And they're going to run this play to the corner. Same exact situation. Cooper goes inside, and Schultz goes outside for the touchdown.
Zerline for the extra point. Dak Prescott is having himself a night already. 8 of 9, a $110, and a touchdown pass. To the Dallas offense and the Dallas defense.
Yeah, I was going to say.
As we're 14-7 Cowboys here, the final 91 seconds left in a rather eventful first quarter.
473 points took care of that Dallas defense.
Really?
Most in franchise history.
Yeah. And speaking of defense, Jonathan Gannon's going to have some choices to make.
Yeah.
Because his zone coverage right now, they're not really reading the pattern distribution very well. And they're getting mixed up and letting people run free. Is he going to have to switch to a little bit more man-to-man? No snaps of man coverage so far tonight for Philadelphia. And Dak is feasting on it.
See if Quez Watkins has an opportunity. He will not. Well, it feels like a lifetime since the Eagles were the class of the NFL. You know, it was only 4 seasons ago. Doug Peterson's Eagles were able to catch lightning with their kite and win Super Bowl 52. With a losing record and massive roster turnover, the Eagles have fallen from the top in a few short years. And that's how quick it can turn around in the NFL.
See what you did there.
Yeah.
You had back to the Future and come back with Benjamin Franklin. Was that it?
Go fly a kite, kid. First down and 10. The Eagles have not had a running play, and they'll continue to throw. Hurts to Sanders, try to set up the screen. Got some blocking. Sanders stays on his feet. And out to the 34, gain of 9. Some of the skill players they have drafted since that Super Bowl trying to figure out that wide receiver spot. Again, spending a lot of great draft capital, first-round picks on Rager and now Smith.
Look, they've got some weapons on the outside that can produce explosives on their own. They just got to get it to them, and they got to expand this offense from a passing game perspective and see if they can get the ball down the field on a consistent basis.
Final minute of the first quarter. Hurts is swallowed up. Micah Parsons and Brent Urban there for the loss.
You have to account for Micah Parsons no matter what. He's on the end of line of scrimmage. You can't pull a guard that way and expect him to be athletic enough to get enough on Parsons. Beats him easily. It's amazing what this kid has done. They drafted him to be a Mike linebacker. They have the injuries to DeMarcus Lawrence. He said he knew it was coming. They move him down to defensive end. And what he did last week was phenomenal. And he showed up again tonight.
Hurts being flushed. Throwing on the run. Can't get it to Hurts. Jaron Curse have the coverage for the Cowboys, and it's 4th down with 1 second left in the quarter.
Jaron Curse is one of those big, tall, rangy defensive backs who can play safety, he can play linebacker, he can match up on tight ends because of his length. And you see right there, you see him shoot that left hand and knock the ball away. This is a guy who, I'll tell you, Dan Quinn likes a lot and says he gives this defense a lot of versatility.
CeeDee Lamb wants an opportunity from the 27 and drop to the 35, and that'll take us to the end of the quarter. Dak and the Cowboys lead. Everyone in and around the NFL, and a shout out to those hardworking people here at this stadium and all over the league. Dak to Zeke, flag comes in. We'll check the marker.
Holding. Offense. Number 52. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
I don't think that was a very good call. This was a screen play, and Connor Williams is just trying to get out of the way. Here he is right here. Watch, he's trying to dump. His job is to just stun the defensive tackle and then get out. He wants to get out of the way. He's letting him go, and Hargrave just kind of falls down. I wouldn't have called that a hold, huh, JP? Yeah, that laugh means I'm right.
Little tight.
Too many holding calls.
Hargrave's back out there for the Eagles. And Elliott's got the football.
But that last play was a great example of what Kellen Moore is trying to do with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott on the field at the same time. They fake it to Zeke, and they have Pollard on the end around, and then they develop a slow screen back to Zeke. That's the misdirection. That's what I think having those two guys on the field together, which they've done for now 13 snaps on this season, it's a great mix-up for Dallas.
Good protection. Zach throwing on the run, able to complete. That's Noah Brown, 5th-year player out of Ohio State. Pickup of 8.
That's just a nice job by Dak Prescott of not seeing anything open in the middle of the field. And you can see he's trying to work the middle of the field in this too-high scheme. Breaks out to his right and gets a completion. You can see just how confident he is right now.
Here comes the changeup from Jonathan Gannon. They're going to come up and play a little press at the top of the screen.
That's not even close. Derek Barnett, a little too early to the party.
Offside, defense, number 96, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
5th penalty against the Eagles tonight, all of them on the defense.
I always felt from a defensive perspective, when you have quarterbacks who can work the cadence like that and just toy with you pre-snap, it's not like they don't have enough to worry about already, but now they're sitting there messing around with their cadence. That just tells you Dak Prescott's in a zone. He's in full control of this offense in every way.
Got the free 5, making a more manageable 3rd and 3. Coming across is Dalton Schultz. Has first down yardage, working on Singleton, gain 8.
That's a great adjustment, right? If they're going to go too deep, man under, first time the Eagles have done this, then Dak knows exactly where he wants to go to his man beater, Dalton Schultz, on a linebacker on a shallow cross.
Don't look at the quarterback. Run to get in position. You look at the quarterback, the receiver's leaving you every time.
Draw, Elliott. And he stood up at the 41 by Steven Nelson. Got 9.
They are. You know what I say to when guys aren't looking at the quarterback, then they're open. Right?
Yeah, that's true too.
You can't win.
I'll tell you this right now. They are exploiting this too high look with between the tackle runs over and over. If the question is, do they remain patient enough to keep doing it?
Well, here comes the safety right now. He's coming down. So now Dak's going to audible to his single high beater. This is the chess game that's going to go on.
Pollard, nearly a rip through, able to pick up 5. Could have been 10.
But this is what we're talking about. For you at home, this guy is coming down to help stop the run. And when he comes down into the box, Dak Prescott's going to audible away. And Tony needs to understand, if I cut back, that's my guy. I'm responsible for him. But that's why Jonathan Gannon is bringing the safety down into the box versus the run game.
And that's a really good stop by Anthony Harris. Stay with Pollard in the ground game.
Look, I can tell you right now, they're just going duo, meaning they're getting 2 double teams on the 2 down linemen on the inside, and they're winning the line of scrimmage right now.
They're getting 8 every play now.
Well, they're knocking people off the ball. The linebackers have nowhere to really cleanly insert, and they're owning the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 2. Pollard. He'll be close. Singleton made sure he didn't get to the marker. 3rd down. Just when we say they're getting 8 a clip, Eagles able to shut them down there.
But you know, like Coach McCarthy told us, look, sometimes you're not going to get a big rip, but you're still sending a message. And he was adamant about that. He said, I need to make sure we establish this, and they're doing it.
Hey, it's coming your way. Good, turbo nasty.
3rd and 1. Let's see if it's really coming CD's way. It's not. It's going to Blake Jarwin for the first down. Pick up a 6. Schultz and Jarwin have both turned into receiving tight ends.
You want to talk about complete control of the offense. That was a 3rd and short. Ezekiel Elliott tried to come on the field. Dak said, no, stay off. I'm handling this. I don't want them to substitute. He knew exactly what to call. Everybody's expecting a hard inside run. Dak himself calls the naked. Wide open for a first down. That's complete control from a quarterback.
See, Dak's eyes got big there. That's McGovern in front of Elliott. He'll stop and start. Just inside the 20. Derek Barnett, the tackle.
How do you slow down these runs? You got to get penetration as a defensive lineman. You saw Fletcher Cox right there slanted inside of Zach Martin and made Zeke change direction hard behind the line of scrimmage. That's what they're going to have to do. This defensive line is going to have to win this football game for Philadelphia. And right now they're getting pushed around on this drive.
35th play, offensive play by the Cowboys. 20th on the Eagles side of the field. Trying to set it up for Zeke inside the 10. And Dak and the Cowboys look in complete control.
You can tell good play callers can sense when a defense starts to panic. And the Eagles have panicked now on that defensive front. They're hearing from the sideline, get after the quarterback, perfect time for a screen.
1st and goal. Here's Elliott. Flag comes in. Forward progress has him down to the 3.
They are running the same play over and over and over again.
Offense, number 52, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Connor Williams again. Second penalty on this drive on Williams.
That's the only thing that stopped these Cowboys so far in this first half.
You can see it right here. Watch, they get doubles, and they just start pushing at the point of attack. And you see it. Javon Hargrave's trying to get off the block here. And Connor Williams is like, hey, where are you going? But you can't do that. But I tell you, this Dallas offensive line right now is sending a definitive message.
First and goal, all the way back at the 19. Quick toss to Cooper. Trying to get him in space. Slade forced him out. Dak is now 13 for his last 14. He's hit on 9 in a row.
Yeah, and last week he was 23 of 27, and he's feeling it. Whether you play man-to-man like the Bucs did in the first game, and he takes those shots down the field and burns you, whether you play zone, he has the patience to find the hole. He's in complete control. Oh, Bob Ross likes to paint. I think it might be a draw.
Second and goal. Here's Ezekiel Elliott.
These quarterbacks aren't very smart with their audibles.
All the way down to the 2-yard line.
The defensive line's not real smart either.
Trying to get into the paint of the end zone.
Downhill. This run game is just taking its toll. And this is a Philly defense coming into this game that had only given up 11 points a game, and they were stout. And right now they're gassed.
Zeke has 10 rushes for the game. The Eagles have run 9 offensive plays total. Third and goal. Elliott. And there won't be any need to review this one. Touchdown, Cowboys.
When you're down here on the goal line, you're just going to see this. He's going to get up. He's going to get up. And watch, the linebackers do not insert quick enough. And there's just too much winning of the line of scrimmage by the Dallas Cowboys. And Ezekiel Elliott, when he gets ahead of steam, he's unstoppable.
Zerline, extra point, missed it. Just about the only thing that has gone wrong tonight for the Cowboys.
Your rival comes into your house and they have designs on upsetting you. You come out 38 plays in this first half and physical finish from Zeke Elliott.
Coach Nick Sirianni, and all of a sudden my phone thinks I said, hey Siri, right? I mean, every time we mention Sirianni, that must happen to a lot of people, and probably people's phones right now.
We forgot to ask him if that's ever happened to him, right? Like how many times people say his name and his phone starts going off?
7:10 to play, first half. Zerline will boot it away into the end zone. See how the Eagles will answer. Meanwhile, next Monday night. So when the schedule comes out, you just never know about these games, right? Couldn't have expected the Raiders to be perfect. And how about the Chargers coming off a victory over the Chiefs in Kansas City yesterday? And while we're talking about the Chiefs, I want to send our best to Andy Reid.
Yes, absolutely.
He's been released from the hospital, we're told, resting comfortably, and expected to get back to work either today or tomorrow. Sending our best to Andy Reid.
Oh, and the Chargers could easily be 3-0. They lost to these Cowboys last week.
Miles Sanders, his first rush, and it's a big one, nearly out to midfield. It's a gain of 24.
You know, and the Philadelphia Eagles came back and did a little bit of the same thing. You're going to see them get some double teams at the point of attack and see Miles Sanders just take it straight up the gut. That's exactly what's been happening to their defense. And Miles Sanders is an explosive ball carrier, both between the tackles and out on the perimeter. They need to get him going. They need to sustain the drive and give their defense a break.
Hurts looking to escape. Wanted somebody to pick up a blocker for him, Jalen Smith. And that didn't happen. Give him 2.
So this is something to keep an eye on with Jalen Hurts. As I watch tape of him in his 6 games that he's played as a pro, is going through his progressions, and he's got an unbelievable athletic ability to get outside the pocket. We love it. Everybody wants to see him stay in the pocket and throw the ball, and right there he had an opportunity to push the ball down the field, escaped early, and Jalen Smith comes up and holds him to a 2-yard gain.
Back to Sanders. Give him 3. Leighton Vander Esch made the stop. No Keanu Neal, middle linebacker for the Cowboys. No Bradley Anai. Both have hit the COVID list. Cowboys had 13 different players on the COVID reserve list dating back to August the 23rd. Think about all last season, only had 6 players. Already 13 so far here this season. 3rd down and 5. Hurts to throw. Behind Goddard, Malik Hooker made sure of that. 4th down.
You just see Dallas Goedert run what they call a little bit of a smash concept. Malik Hooker doesn't buy it. He doesn't buy the sell that Goddard tried to sell him on as far as going upfield. He just settles his feet, reacts to the route, comes up over the top, and makes the PBU.
That's a great job by Malik Hooker. He came over. He spent his first 4 years in Indy. He came here the first week of camp and had some injuries in his career, but he is contributing to this defense.
Siposs, a booming punt. Drops dead at the 6-yard line. Goes to a 41-yard punt. Couldn't do much better than that. Dallas Cowboy greats in the house tonight. Emmitt Smith, Tony Dorsett. Pretty good 1-2 running back combination there. There's Jimmy and a host of others. Some 20 Dallas Cowboys enshrined in the Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. There's Tony Pollard. Bring up a 2nd down.
The Cowboys got to be careful that they've got such a great right guard in Zach Martin, future Hall of Famer in my opinion, 6-time Pro Bowler. But when you have a guy like that, you got to be careful that you don't just run behind him every time you run the football, because he's so good. Now La'el Collins, as we talked about, suspended, and so Terrence Steele's getting an opportunity at that right tackle position. Last week he road graded some Chargers. Really talented young player as well.
Zach wants to throw for it. He was hit. It's Hargrave who got to him, and he'll pick himself up off the turf. It's going to be a 3rd down.
You got Javon Hargrave. You're going to see him right here in the middle of your screen. Just look at his get off. I mean, he is off the ball, and he is in the Biadish's chest, and there's nothing he can do about it.
No foul for intentional grounding. Ball reached the line of scrimmage, past the line of scrimmage. Quarterback was under duress, but was hit as he threw the ball. It's 3rd down.
Well, Biadasz is the question mark on this offensive line. He's in just his 7th start, and he's drawing a really tough matchup with Hargrave. They're going to keep Hargrave right over top of him for the majority of this game.
Third and 10 from the 6. Prescott throwing across his body down the sideline. And let's see. They're going to call that a catch. Cedric Wilson, a circus catch for now. If it stands, it's good for 38 yards.
This is unbelievable. The concentration takes it right off of the top of Avonte Maddox's head.
Only 1 foot in, though. They're going to try to go fast, but they're not going to allow this one to stand. As good of a catch as that was, even though it won't be ruled a completion,
right?
That was an even better throw from Dak Prescott, rolling full speed to his left, opposite his throwing shoulder, to get his body back in position and throw that ball. Unbelievable.
Philadelphia is challenging the rolling of the field of a catch for a 1st down. The previous play is under review.
We were at Cowboys practice, and they actually practice going fast to prevent the other team from challenging. couldn't go fast enough there. We'll get the ruling on the challenge. We think we know it already. So Fletcher Cox was shaken up, and Nick Sirianni was fired up over having to use a challenge there.
Rightfully so, yeah.
Which was, as we all saw, would be the play would be overturned. That's not a catch. In college, it's a great catch, but not in the NFL. And so it's 4th down, and the Cowboys will punt from their own end zone. First punt of the night for Dallas. Brian Anger is back deep. Jalen Reagor is at the 42 of Philadelphia.
Good time for a big return if they can get one.
Pretty good punt. Reagor has to backtrack. Now being chased. And pushed all the way back to the 31. Loss of 4 on the return, 56-yard punt. And a flag comes in. Good special teams coverage there by the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
I'm interested in these officials and their alignments and how, like, on that catch, how that non-catch, how can they be out of position so
During
poorly
the return,
to miss that?
holding. Return team number 84. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Let's ask 3-time Super Bowl official
Yeah,
John Barry.
John, yeah.
Like, as the game has evolved and it's become a shorter game, they are asking the officials to sit a little bit tighter, don't get moving so quickly. So there will be plays that the players get behind them. This is a tough spot. When you're 4 or 5 yards from where the action is, feet are moving, your eyes are moving, your head's moving.
Right.
So that's why we miss these. And I would have liked to see the replay official make the confirmation of incomplete.
But that's why Dallas runs up to the line of scrimmage to create havoc to prevent that.
Yeah, they're trying to beat the defense and the replay official.
Yeah.
Hurts gonna keep it. Turn the corner. Micah Parsons forced him out. It's a gain of 3. Hey, John, one more thing. Can the officials get mesmerized by a great athletic play like that? That must happen.
No, it does not happen.
Oh, it must happen. It's not the job. I get it.
They see the game completely different than fans and media and everybody else. Look, you got a job to do, and you walk through your mechanics over and over and over again.
Well, it's interesting, his eyes, though. Your point about where his eyes are looking, whether he was possessing the football while he's backpedaling and moving and seeing if his feet got down. Those 3 things happening right there.
And being mesmerized by the great athletic play. Speaking of which, Devontae Smith able to get away. And out beyond the 45.
Just a nice little curl route, a little hook up here. He just turns and catches the ball, and you see there Anthony Brown misses the tackle, and this is something Devontae Smith can do. They got to find creative ways to get him the football and create some explosives of their own and keep the chains moving and let their defense rest. And I can tell you this, number 6 is going to have to play a big role as far as creating those explosives.
19-yard reception. It's a career long. Early on in his career, going to be many deep balls longer than that. Oh, Hurts is swallowed up. Dropped at the 35-yard line. Osa Odigizua, the 23-year-old rookie, got to him.
There he is. He's matched up on Dickerson. That's the rookie from Alabama who's playing for the injured Brandon Brooks, and he just goes right around him. That's rookie on rookie. And right now, Philly has no answers on offense.
Odigizua, another one of those draft picks who's making kind of a scheme switch. Now he's a guy who's much more get up the field as opposed to what he was used like at UCLA. Dan Quinn has got him going.
2nd and 21. Little stunt up front, leads to a hole. Hurts throwing and completing. Hit Watkins, but I think it's coming back. Pick up a 20 if it stands, but let's see.
Holding. Offense. Number 56. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Football memories as a kid. He said, you come home from school, have some dinner. Usually they were Sunday leftovers. And he said, we watch Boomers fastest 3 minutes. And then he's ready for Monday Night Football.
No homework?
He left out the homework part.
Got it. He's doing his homework now that he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, I can tell you that.
2nd and 31. See how well he studied. All 3 timeouts for the Eagles. Hurts to throw. Rager. Got 7 back.
They're banking on the fact, Philadelphia is, of their guys being able to break a tackle and produce an explosive play on a catch and run situation. You see, they're not really trying to push the ball down the field yet. Don't know if they can protect it up good enough.
I'm not sure, Lewis, why Dallas isn't taking a timeout right here. There's his 3rd and forever. Take a timeout and save some time before half.
Yeah, the Eagles seem content to let this clock go down. Here's Hurts. Trying to set it up to Sanders. Got the pressure from Randy Gregory. And Micah Parsons made the stop.
And they're still not calling a timeout. I don't understand. I mean, Mike McCarthy, you should have called a timeout before that play. And they called a screen to make sure the ball was going to stay in bounds. Miles Sanders almost went out of bounds. And then call a timeout here.
Still not calling it, yeah.
He's thinking about it. He wanted to make sure that they were not going to go for it and maybe punt here, but that should have been a timeout before that play was called. And they had some issues at the end of the game last week. Same thing, clock management. There's a lot of different ways to cut it, but that one was pretty clear.
Eagles will get the football to start the second half. Philly calls a timeout there. The college football Saturday, it's a big one. 3 SEC matchups for you on ESPN. The big one has Arkansas and Georgia, a couple of 4-0 squads there. College Game Day will be there as well. Then at 6, it's 10th ranked Florida and Kentucky. And then at 9, 22nd ranked Auburn will travel to Death Valley, take on LSU. How weird there's no hashtag and number in front of LSU. The unranked Tigers. See about that. Had a college football game here over the weekend. Jerry Jones' beloved Arkansas Razorbacks a winner. Able to beat Texas A&M.
Find it, AC. Right there. Let it go.
And still with 11 seconds to play until halftime. This is a first half that's really gone well for the Cowboys. And we talked about it in the open, being multiple. They've done it. You never know which Cowboys offense you're going to get now in these games, and that's something for the defense to worry about.
Yeah, and even when you play this too-high shell that we're talking about, they have found ways in order to really challenge its principles down the field and still get explosive plays, which when they can do that, now not only are they multiple, they're unstoppable.
Dak and the Cowboys will walk it off. Prescott in his return, 13 of 16, 148 yards. And a touchdown. Cowboys seemingly comfortable 20-7 lead. The USAA Insurance halftime is next. Hyped as the return to this same turf for Dak Prescott. Pretty brilliant. 13 of 16, buck 48, 1 touchdown, and did not turn it over. Steve, Brian, and Lewis back with you. Lisa in just a moment as well. The Cowboys guys have more first downs than the Eagles have plays run, 18. But Philly's going to get the ball here, and they're fortunate to be down just 13 now.
Yeah, they got to get something going offensively. But the story of this game has been Dallas on the offensive side. And we came into this, Zeke had 2-to-1 snaps on Tony Pollard. Tonight, they have 11 rushes and 10 rushes between the two of them. 116 yards on the ground. That's been the difference in my eyes.
Yeah, for the Philadelphia Eagles, though, I'll tell you, this coaching staff has talked about the fact that in real time, you got to understand what's happening as far as making adjustments. They got to understand right now they're going to have to change something offensively here. Maybe go a little up-tempo, get Jalen Hurts in some kind of rhythm. Because if they don't, it's going to look just like a carbon copy of the first half.
And I think they can open it up a little bit more for Hurts, too, right?
Yeah.
They were really constricted in their formations. Nick Sirianni needs to get with his coaching staff and say, listen, in order for us to get back in this game, maybe we have to spread this thing out and allow our quarterback to go through some reads and throw the ball quick.
Yep.
Eagles ran the football just 5 times in the first half. The team's lowest at halftime since week 17 of 2009. That was a game also here in Dallas. The Eagles lost that one 24-0. Zerline in the air. No return. Hurts and company from the 25. Here's Lisa Salters.
Hey, Steve, well, the Eagles had just 3 first downs in that first half. They ran a total of just 18 plays, I asked Nick Sirianni, how do you get something going offensively? And he said just what Lewis said. We got to make some plays. We got to get into a rhythm and avoid the silly penalties. I asked him how important this opening drive of the second half is. He said, huge. We've got to establish something now on offense with the run and the pass. Again, he said we got to do it right now. Steve?
All right, let's see, Lisa. Open up, first down and 10 from their own 25. Hurts comes out firing, able to complete. It's Dallas Goedert. Big play, and he is wrestled out of bounds. Thrown around by Jordan Lewis, but not until Goedert picked up 28.
A little miscommunication as far as the Dallas Cowboys are concerned right off the bat, and they turn Dallas Goedert loose. You're going to see him just go across the formation, and you're going to see Jaron Kearse. He's trying to pass him off, and Goddard's running free on that wide shallow cross. That's how you get something going. You get somebody freed up, you hit him in a good spot and let him run with the football.
In Dallas territory. Hurts through the arms of Goedert. Got some pressure, maybe had to release it a little earlier than he wanted to.
You got to make that throw. You know, if Jalen Hurts, it's the same play, just the opposite direction. Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of pressure in front of you, but you got to put the ball on a wide open tight end. That's another 25 to 30 yard gain. And right now, you don't have the margin for error to miss plays like that if you're Philadelphia.
And that's two blown coverages by the Dallas secondary, turning loose the tight ends on the shallow cross and the intermediate cross, because he had Zach Ertz on that one too.
Hurts the throw, it's picked off. It's Trayvon Diggs down the sideline. Nobody's going to catch him. House call. Trayvon Diggs, pick 6. Touchdown, Dallas.
Watch the break from Trayvon Diggs right here. The route is this. The receiver falls down. He's trying to throw the quick out, but watch Diggs read that route by Devontae Smith. Those two were at Alabama together. They practiced against one another. They know what they like to do. They know their tendencies, and Trayvon Diggs read Smith like a book.
"59-yard interception return for the touchdown. And the extra point is good. A whole lot of Alabama on the field, making plays. Trayvon Diggs, 3rd interception already of the season.
Backs, you see here as he's dropping back and taking that abbreviated 3-step. You see his eyes? He's staring at Devontae Smith the whole way. Trayvon Diggs from off coverage, he's reading 3-step first of all. And if you're in the gun, he's just reading to see if you take an abbreviated 3-step drop. And if you stare at your wide receiver, he has no reason to backpedal. He's going to drive on the quick out, and that's going to probably be the result most times. Until Jalen corrects that, he's going to have problems with the better cornerbacks in this league reading where he's going with the football. And he's going to throw more pick sixes.
Now that being said, Devontae Smith has to keep his feet. When a receiver goes down, that's when interceptions happen. If the quarterback makes a mistake, at least the receiver keeps his feet and you break that pass up.
True.
So it's on both of them.
No question. But he's making it a lot easier on DBs by doing that. You can't just come out of your drop staring right at where you want to go.
Well, let's look at the play before. This was the play before with Jalen Hurts. You hit that tight end. That could be a touchdown. Look at the green grass in front of Goddard. And that leads to this, you know. So the margin for error, we talked about that, is so razor thin with Jalen Hurts and with this Eagles team that one bad thing leads to another.
There's an injured Cowboy on the field. See if we can grab a number for you.
C.J. Goodwin.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, going back to Jalen Hurts, when you're looking at wide receivers like that, and look, I know Devontae Smith fell down, but I'm just saying from a defensive perspective, if you're looking at how quickly they are biting on the short passing game, now it's time to double move, see if you can get one over the top.
field, but then once he got to the sidelines, he was hugging and laughing and would appear to be okay. Philadelphia football, and now they trail by an even 20 from their own 25-yard line. Hurts to throw. That pass is just behind his intended target. Looking for Kenneth Gainwell, the rookie running back from Memphis. So we saw rookie quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones yesterday throw pick sixes. Jalen Hurts really is a rookie quarterback still, making his 7th career start here today.
And he's playing like a rookie right now. And I think everybody needs to understand that that's what he is. Despite the fact he's got a C on his chest right there, this is only his 7th start in the National Football League.
2nd down and 10. Rolling to the right, being chased by Jalen Smith. And he'll be run out of bounds.
And I think that says a lot about him, that they voted him captain of this team. Nobody has ever questioned the integrity, the character, the leadership ability of Jalen Hurts. We've watched it since 2016. The question is, can he operate at a high level as a quarterback in the National Football League? And until you go out and prove it, Lewis, people are going to continue to doubt you.
Yeah, at the very least, you have to hit the open throws, as you pointed out. He had Kenneth Gainwell on a wheel route right here previous to the scramble out the pocket. That could have been a big play, too. He has to start hitting those.
3rd and 9. Facing 4 Cowboys with no protection. And he'll take a big hit at the 28.
You can almost,
Kennedy got to him first.
You can almost see Jalen Hurts thinking, and his coach is trying to protect him. 3rd and 9, I'm going to throw a slip screen. Well, it's not there. And so then Jalen Hurts extends the play. Well, you can't extend that play because offensive linemen are downfield. You can't throw it. So then he tucks it underneath, and that play was dead from the start.
Sipas with a short kick. CeeDee Lamb. Cowboys football. Dallas takes over, up 20. And fumbled the football, Prescott. And instantly on him was Alex Singleton.
Dak's trying to wheel out from under center and just doesn't secure the snap. The worst part about those plays is then when you fall on the ball, the defensive lineman hits you right in the head.
He always get a shot.
But you deserve it as a quarterback if you're going to do that.
2nd and 14. Prescott hung on to the ball. Cox nearly got him. And it's Hargrave in the end, and a flag comes in. Would have been a shot on Prescott.
Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox are still playing hard. He just bowled over the left guard.
Offense, number 52. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's Connor Williams again.
He had no other choice but to hold on because Fletcher Cox got him off balance, and then watch what he does.
Yeah, this is the nightmare for the guard.
He gets that long arm extended and just runs him over. Yeah, you knew it was going to be that kind of night for the interior of the Dallas offensive line. They knew they were in for a fight.
3rd and 17. Ezekiel Elliott. It's a lot of that yardage back. Going to bring up a 4th down. So the Eagles get a stop. You almost feel like Philadelphia's only touchdown of the game was a defensive touchdown. They needed the defense to stand up for them again, and they get the stop here. Second punt of the night for Brian Anger. Rager stayed in bounds. No, he didn't. Going to say he was out.
All night long here making the big play. Anthony Brown down the field on the interception. Micah Parsons making a good play on the zone read. Then Odigizua there beating Landon Dickerson on the outside pass rush. Trayvon Diggs finishes it off, reading the 3-step, taking it to the house for 6.
You can't understate how bad this defense was a year ago and overstate how influential Dan Quinn has been so far in this season with the way they're playing. Coming into this game, they led the league in turnovers, and they got 2 more already tonight.
First and 10. Hurts hit as he throws. And it goes incomplete. Terrell Basham is right in the face of Jalen Hurts. Dan Quinn is the 3rd different defensive coordinator in the last 3 years for these Cowboys. Mike Nolan only lasted a year. Prior to him, it was Rod Marinelli. The Cowboys had a franchise worst 29.6 points per game a season ago. And they started, they realized it. They got Quinn in there, started drafting defense, and more defense. Hurts, haven't seen a lot of this from him tonight, and the Eagles need some kind of spark. And I say they drafted defense and kept going. Spent the first 6 on defense, a league-high 8 defensive players overall. That's most by any Cowboy team since '92. And so, they realize they got a problem.
Right.
Trying to fix it here.
Well, and not only that, but to be very clear, Dan Quinn came in and said, listen, this is the type of player that we need at each level of this defense. You guys go and draft who you think is the best fit for that, but I'm going to be really clear with you as to what we need so that I get the pieces to start to build this thing back together.
And a penalty. Nothing going right.
Offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
The normally reliable Zach Ertz. Nothing going right for the Eagles. They have yet to convert on a 3rd down tonight. And they were facing their 6th 3rd down right now.
And just to finish on Dan Quinn, he went and got 2 important pieces that he was very familiar with from Atlanta. And Keanu Neal, who's not even playing tonight, and DeMonte KZ. Those are the quarterbacks on that back end that Dan Quinn needed to help implement his system.
And a timeout. Timeout Dallas before that was snapped. Quinn said he did a deep dive on himself, really did some self-scouting. He said even in Hawaii, where he and his wife have a place, they have some dark days, and he talked to Jerry and Stephen Jones and Mike McCarthy, gave him an honest assessment. Hey, this is exactly what this defense needs. And this defense needed Dan Quinn.
Yeah, and he said he solicited the opinions of others as far as what they thought about his scheme when he was in Seattle, what they thought the strengths and the weaknesses were of what he was doing down there. And he said coming out of it, look, I'm not the same coordinator. I don't really run the same system anymore. I'm a lot more multiple on my side too now. And he said that growth was something that he needed. And I think you're seeing the fruits of it out here on the field right now.
Well, he was humbled in Atlanta, and rightfully so. And how are you going to handle that? Are you going to get up, dust yourself off, and come back and get better or worse? And Dan Quinn, evidence in the first 3 games, has gotten a lot better.
This place is electric tonight. 3rd down and 8 for the Eagles. Dallas bringing everybody. Hurts gets rid of it. Middle of the field, and it is caught. A flag comes in. It's Quez Watkins on the catch. And we'll check the markers. There are 2 of them. If it stands, it's for 41. And man, the Eagles need that.
I don't know how Jalen Hurts got away from Odigizua, first of all, because Odigizua was free on the quarterback and then kept his eyes downfield.
Play both by the defense. Holding, defense number 31, that penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense number 31. That penalty is declined. First down.
If you're looking for positives to build on, Jalen Hurts stares down the barrel and doesn't flinch and keeps his eyes downfield and makes a throw under immense pressure.
And a nice route by Quez Watkins to run that corner route and then elevate and come down with the reception over Kennedy.
In Dallas territory. Hurts had some green in front of him. See if he can get the corner on Jalen Smith. Smith will force him out. He's second down and short.
But I like what Nick Sirianni is doing right now. You see right there, I said they were going to come back and try a double move. They tried it right there on Trayvon Diggs. And Trayvon Diggs was walking back to the huddle, yelling at Nick Sirianni, almost as if to say, don't try that on me. I knew what was coming next, but I like their thinking, how they're trying to set it up.
2nd and 1. Hurts for Ertz. Hurts to Ertz, and there's the combination down to the 10. Vander Esch eventually got to him. The gain of 27.
See, now they've got it going a little bit. They hit a big play. They get a little bit of a spark. You know, they've had some communication issues on the Dallas defense when they get in man coverage as far as the second level of the defense, making sure they know who their responsibility is. And Nick Sirianni is dialing up some good calls. It's just a matter of them executing at this point.
First trip to the red zone. Deepest penetration is the 11. Sanders out of the backfield. Smith ran him out. No gain.
You've been talking about Jalen Smith running sideline to sideline all game long. He ran down Hurts. He's run down Sanders. And, you know, all the attention and all the talk for this Cowboys defense has been around their #1 draft pick in Micah Parsons. But Jalen Smith is playing his tail off this season, and they need him. He is the leader, unquestioned, on this defense. We talked about Parsons and how great an athlete he is. He is in no way ready to lead this team like Jalen Smith.
Kenneth Gainwell is checked in. Here's Hurts. Little shake and bake. We'll see where they spot him. About the 3-yard line. Give him 8.
I like this fight from #1 in green. I like this fight. It has not gone your way. You've thrown pick sixes, and you're still out there battling.
Trying to go quick. 3rd and 2. Hurts has a man wide open. It is Zach Ertz. Touchdown, Eagles.
Again, communication issues. You can see it. There's confusion back here. You see Ertz sitting right here. They're late to line up. And when you're running these kind of little pick route concepts down there, you have no shot. You cannot recover fast enough there. The communication has to be on point. That's something that has been happening to the Dallas defense. And finally, Philadelphia is able to capitalize on it.
You know, they don't have Donovan Wilson back there, and they're playing a lot of new players. I mean, Jaron Kearse, KZ, and Hooker are all first year with the Cowboys, and so communication is going to be a growth area as this season goes on.
Elliott's extra point is good. And Eagle fans are wondering, where has this been all night? It's an 8-play, 90-yard touchdown drive by Philadelphia. And Quez Watkins had the 91-yard reception a week ago. He makes the big catch, leading to the 7:08 to play. John Parry, Lisa Salters, Louis Riddick, Brian Greasy, and our outstanding Monday Night Football crew. I'm Steve Levy. Good to see 90+ thousand people in the house in Texas for pro football. So how did the Cowboys get to this? Going multiple in the great running game we saw early in the first half.
Yeah, Philadelphia is going to play 2 safeties high. You got to feed Zeke, and they did it early in this game in the first half. He had 11 rushes. Tony Pollard got in on the act, and these double teams up front. Zach Martin, we know how good he is. Left side, Tyron Smith and Williams getting in the act as well. But Lewis, they've gotten away from this a little bit here in the second half. Back-to-back drives, they've gone 3 and out. See if they can get back to it.
Here's Ezekiel Elliott. He is tripped up there by Eric Wilson. Give him 2.
Yeah, there's an example of it. They're going to try and start getting this ball downhill between the tackles again. Get back to what set up their success in the first half. What was those duo runs that we just saw on the screen, the double teams at the point of attack. Let's see if we can sustain the drive here.
Prescott zips one across the middle. Cedric Wilson. Nice grab with Marcus Epps on his back. Epps is in for Kayvon Wallace, who has been ruled out with a shoulder injury. It's a gain of 15.
An absolute laser from Dak Prescott. Wow. He put some heat on that. Epps was closing quick. He had a good break on it, a good read on it. And you're going to see him just fit this in here as that quarter field safety. Look, he's just sitting there flat foot and driving downhill, and Dak fit it in there anyway. That's a great throw.
Throwing and completing, and it's CeeDee Lamb. Working on Steven Nelson that time. And just when the Eagles answer, the Cowboys fire right back.
Watch Dak step up. He knows he's got a tight end and a receiver coming over to help. He knows he's going to take a deep drop and have to step underneath of Sweat. That's perfectly done from Dak Prescott.
And just like that in the Philadelphia territory. Prescott to keep it. Saw trouble and he'll slide down. He'll take a loss there. It is amazing, right? Prescott throws it 58 times in the opener, and Gallup and Cooper and Lamb are stars in that game. And then in week 2, they go to the run game, and it's Elliott and Pollard, and that is the multiple. And so really those great Cowboy receivers have been non-factors until this point.
Listen, they're trying to become a complete offense, and we know how good the receivers are, and if they get man-to-man coverage and ideal looks, they can win. But you got to be able to do both.
Prescott to throw. I think he wanted Cedric Wilson there. No Gallup for the Cowboys. He's on injured reserve, injured his calf in week 1. He'll miss a few more weeks. Bring up a 3rd and 11. We haven't seen Prescott miss too often tonight either.
Yeah, this is important. This is an important 3rd down here for the Eagles defense. They need to get off the field here, because if Dallas is able to sustain this drive, this could be a problem for them.
It's more of a pressure look than Philadelphia's had the entire game. And Dak Prescott knows it, and he's going to call his best man beater.
That's Zeke at the top of your screen on 3rd and 11. Prescott's got some pressure, and he's going to be taken down. Josh Sweat was the first man there. Lewis, that's the stop of the play you were talking about.
Exactly. That's a nice job of the Eagles. Look, showing man pressure and then jumping out and playing like a fire zone cover 2. And you're going to see it here. You're going to see the safeties drop back. And you're going to see it fools Dak a little bit.
Yes, it does.
And you see the underneath coverage. They match up perfectly. That's the counterpoint to an offense that is checking at the line of scrimmage. You have to have a counter call. Bait them into thinking you're doing one thing and do another.
Nearly a block. Greg Ward nearly got to Brian Anger. Somehow he got it away, a 40-yard punt.
Wow, that was that close to being a really huge momentum shift. Go with 2 hands to the ball. Go to where the foot is.
You got to see it. We used to always be coached up. See the ball come off the foot of the punter. Don't close your eyes. Put 2 hands up and just take it off his foot. It's a big missed opportunity. But they got off the field on 3rd down, which is a big win for them.
He knows it. He knows he missed that opportunity. It opened up perfectly for him. You can't flinch when that punter's coming at you.
Eagles had the football at the 10 the last time, marched 90 yards for their only offensive score of the game. Starting here from the 11. 2 seconds to snap it. Got it away. Bit of a low snap. That didn't look good from the start, but they get it to Devontae Smith, who nearly has his head ripped off. KZ nearly took his helmet off, and a flag comes in. That looked awful right from the snap.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to see after a change of possession punt. You got plenty of time to get your play call, get out there and operate.
An eligible player downfield. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
And those are the kinds of things, if you're an Eagles fan watching this, those are the kinds of things that just make you kind of go, what are we doing? And that's, you know, that's a reflection on the coach and the quarterback.
Yeah, you're going to see Andre Dillard here, the left tackle. You see he's way downfield before Jalen lets go of the football. Got to play smarter than that.
Easy call for the official, 1st and 15. Two to snap it again. Hurts gets it. Quick throw, Devontae Smith. And quickly, Trayvon Diggs was all over it.
Look, the Dallas defense is playing for the short game. They're playing for the short game. And just watch Trayvon. You see here, he doesn't even backpedal. He just kind of breaks and drives because he's cluing through the receiver to the quarterback, and he's telling him, you better change that up, man, or I'm going to steal it all day long.
I like that attitude. I like that attitude from Trayvon Diggs. Not taunting, talking. There's a difference, and I'm glad that the officials right there didn't throw it.
Here's Hurts on 2nd and 11. Waited for Sanders to come out of his break, and he couldn't catch the football. 3rd down.
Micah Parsons,
wow.
Finger on that.
Yes, sir. Parsons can affect the game in so many ways.
And this
Here's
is
an
where,
example.
This is where you got to be really careful. They now have put Micah Parsons over Andre Dillard, and that's a smart move from Dan Quinn. Don't put him on Lane Johnson. Now they're going to bring him inside. They're moving him all over the place.
Got Landon Dickerson now.
Protection is good. Hurts loads and fires, and Smith couldn't haul it in. Diggs working on Smith, former Alabama teammates.
This is something we talked about with Devontae Smith yesterday. At Alabama in the SEC, a lot of times you're running wide open. Not in the NFL. You are going to have to make tight, contested catches. Great job by Trayvon Diggs getting that arm through, but Devontae Smith has to be strong and make that play.
Yeah, if he could just lead him a little bit more, maybe that's a completion. Trayvon Diggs is on it tonight.
Siposs, great high punt. CeeDee Lamb will field it. It's a 52-yard punt. Big game on Monday Night Football next Monday night.
Give me everything you got. Let's see what happens.
Gang, gang, gang. The level is just what
Victory in overtime.
no grip on my hand. I know that I came with the slide from left to right, but now I don't want to dance. I got too much on the line, too much on my mind, too much ain't enough of my plans.
Monday Night Football. This is what you live for.
The Raiders love Las Vegas, and they love overtime. I know everybody had the Raiders starting 3-0 this season.
That's going to be a phenomenal game. I mean,
Prescott throwing. And the catch is Amari Cooper.
what we saw from Justin Herbert yesterday, he was the best player on the field. And yes, Patrick Mahomes was on that field. And I can't wait to see him operate against those Raiders. And how about the return of football to L.A.? I mean, 29 years there wasn't football in L.A.
Right.
And look at the two teams yesterday from L.A., the Rams and the Chargers. Which one was more compelling?
Right, and it's the total opposite of what's going on the East Coast with the Jets and the Giants.
Nobody cares.
They care in New York. And I don't mean just Western New York either.
We're going to make it about New York. We're talking about L.A., Levy.
Coast to coast. There's your East Coast bias right there. 2nd and 5 for Dallas. The Eagles have another stop in them. Prescott throwing. Watt and Cooper. Slay on the coverage. And I don't see any flags.
That's nice coverage by Darius Slay out here, one-on-one, playing single high safety coverage. You see him, eyes down. There's a little bit of hand fighting. They're fighting both, trying to get position. But that's what they pay Darius Slay for, to man up against the best wide receivers the league has to offer and cover them like that.
And they pay him a lot. 5th highest cornerback salary in the NFL.
Hey, here we go. Let's go. Red Yogi. Red Yogi. Here. Watch the whole thing.
3rd and 5. Schultz set up the tight end screen for the first down. Needed 5, got 11.
Anytime you have a tight end that blocks one-on-one on a defensive end, it should be a key to that defensive end for screen. They don't want a tight end to block Josh Sweat. So when Josh Sweat rushes and he only gets a tight end, that's a clue. Like, just slow down and stay with the tight end.
Cover 20. Cover 20.
Elliott Just inside the 30, that's Hargrave and Cox, the heart of that Eagles defense.
You can see the Eagles have changed up their front a little bit. Fletcher Cox, look, he's down, maybe he's cramping up. They're playing a lot of snaps, fighting his heart out inside there. But you see Jonathan Gannon has changed up their sub front a little bit. They put another big in the game, taking a linebacker out, trying to slow down this running game that they're getting gashed with when they're in sub personnel, meaning they're in nickel personnel. And that's disheartening when a team's still averaging about 4 yards per clip, even though you've made the adjustment to try and stop the bleeding. These guys have played a lot of snaps. You see they're giving Fletcher some Gatorade.
Well, smart by Fletcher Cox too. Just stay down on the field like this. The Cowboys have momentum on this drive, and if you're cramping up, don't just hobble off to the sideline. This is a vet move. Sit down right in the middle and, hey, give me some Gatorades, and I'll try to take this momentum away.
He doesn't want to do anything to help out Dak Prescott. Cox was a senior at Mississippi State when Dak was there as a redshirt freshman. And now he will lumber off the field with 34 seconds left in the quarter. On the Eagles 28, 2nd and 6, it's Elliott. He's got the first down. Into the red zone. That'll take us to the end of quarter number 3. Elliott and Pollard running the football, but it's Dak leading the way. An emotional return to the field in which he was injured a season ago. Quite a night for Prescott. Fourth quarter time in Arlington, Texas. 27-14 Dallas, and the Cowboys are marching again. First down and 10 from the Philadelphia 20. There's CeeDee Lamb trying to split defenders. Steve Nelson and TJ Edwards. Gain of 6.
CeeDee Lamb is a guy that they have to get 8 to 10 touches minimum each and every game. He's different than Amari Cooper. He's got that yards after catch ability. That he's like a running back at the wide receiver position. He's got great innate skills with the ball in his hand. And he brings energy to this offense more than anything else.
2nd and 4. It's Elliott trying to reach forward for the first down.
And with CeeDee Lamb, it's not just about when he catches the ball, but look at him come in here and block. Here he is right here. Comes in and he'll insert like a fullback on a safety. And he's not that big. He's 189 pounds, but he plays a lot bigger.
Jonathan Gannon has tried to make the adjustment as far as changing up his fronts to stop this inside run game. And to this point, he doesn't have any answers. They need to hold Dallas at this point to at least a field goal if they want to stay in this game and stay in a 2-score game.
First and goal. Looked like a busted play. I think Prescott turned around and handed that to somebody and nobody was home.
Yep. Ezekiel Elliott was out in the slot. He was not behind Dak Prescott, and miscommunication there.
I'm looking for the smile and I don't see it. I think Dak was pointing to himself. That's on me. Let's see.
Well, look at Zeke's like got his hands up.
Zeke's got his hands up.
Over here.
Right. Again, it's all fun and games when you're up 27-14 and trying to score some more. 2nd and goal now from the 9. That's Pollard in motion. Again, Elliott wasn't there to hand the football to, and Prescott's in big trouble. And he is smacked by TJ Edwards down.
You wanted to go down if you're Dallas. Go down, score here, and end this game. And they've had back-to-back plays where it just hasn't been clean. Ezekiel Elliott's covering the flat. Look, Amari Cooper, there's no way to go with this ball. And Dak gets in that spot, in that position. You don't want to take that hit. You want to throw the ball away, but you also don't want to take a big hit.
Push back to the 12 now on 3rd and goal.
Free play.
Eagles are definitely offside. Got it to Elliott. And it'll take 4 Eagles to bring him down at the 5.
Offside. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Here's Lisa Salters.
Steve, Fletcher Cox still not out here on the field. He came lumbering off the field, as you said, but went running back to the locker room. I'm told he's being treated for those cramps, getting some fluid.
Thank you, Lisa. Prescott on 3rd and goal, has time, trying to run for it now, and he'll be dropped at the 3. Singleton made the stop.
And a decision here for Mike McCarthy.
He's going for it. This is where the chess match gets fun.
Remember, they got stopped earlier, 4th and goal inside the 1.
It's hard to throw the football down here. There's not a whole lot of room.
Well, if I had a chance, I'm going to C.D. Lamb. You know, he's at the top of the screen. Now Darius Slay went with him, but even that wouldn't take me off of him.
Prescott's looking left the whole time. Now running to his right. The throw back of the end zone. Cedric Wilson, touchdown Cowboys.
I love Mike McCarthy keeping the ball in your best player's hands, and that's Dak Prescott. Just watch the top of the screen here. Both guys are going to be wide open. You had CeeDee Lamb open early, and then when Dak escapes, look at both guys are wide open. A breakdown from the Philadelphia Eagles in the secondary, and a great job extending by Dak Prescott.
Been happening all night, Grease. The communication issues down inside the red area, they have to be airtight.
Zerline boots it through for Cedric Wilson, just his 3rd career touchdown catch. His previous 2 came in the same game, week 3 of last season. Prescott finds him in the back of the end zone.
Told us that message meant so much to him, coming from such a diehard Eagles fan who's gone through so much of his own diversity in life. Giovanni suffers from a rare genetic disorder his mom describes as like having muscular dystrophy and dwarfism combined. After Dak got Gio's message, he made the kid's day, his year, by sending him a message back. Prescott said the fact that this kid, a super Eagles fan, wanted to show him support says so much about his character. He said, I just wanted to tell him thank you, that his message was received, and really, really appreciate it. Steve?
A nice pause in the Cowboys-Eagles rivalry. Giovanni has undergone 12 operations to combat that rare condition Lisa spoke of since Giovanni was the age of 2. So every once in a while, Eagles and Cowboys can get together for a little love, and that was nice to see.
Well, and I'm sure Gio's not real happy with the outcome of this game, but at least, Gio, we got you into the show, and thanks for inspiring all of us, bud.
See if the Eagles have an answer. Cowboys lead is 20 again. Set up the screen. Kenneth Gainwell. Leighton Vander Esch made the stop, got 1 on the play.
I think it's worth reiterating how impressive this Dallas Cowboys defense has been. And they are playing without DeMarcus Lawrence. They're playing without Dorrance Armstrong, no Carlos Watkins, no Bradley Anai, no Keanu Neal, no Donovan Wilson. They don't have their full complement, and they have been really impressive in containing Jalen Hurts tonight.
2nd down and 9. It's Rager. He's out to the 30. And this is when you look back at that Philadelphia victory, right? The first game you wonder, it was the Falcons. And that's 32-6, and they came up short against the 49ers in week 2, 17-11.
Boy, and this is what they do not want to have. We watched too much of this last year with this offensive line, and now Isaac Seumalo on the grass.
That's Isaac Seumalo, who is being carted off here in Dallas. Last season on IR for 7 games with a knee injury. Banged up here tonight.
Yeah, he's getting run over there by Urban, and he steps back with that left foot, and something happened with that lower left leg. It did not look good.
Nate Herbig has come in to replace him. Again, the Eagles already without Mailata and Brandon Brooks. There'll be 3 starters down on this Philadelphia offensive line. 3rd and 4. Hurts got it away. It's Rager. Has the first down. Keeps the Eagles in the game, gain of 12.
Look, the Eagles have speed, and they have playmaking ability on the perimeter. It's just a matter of can they consistently sustain drives and get these guys out in the open space. And they've shot themselves in the foot and really have been their own worst enemy tonight.
Hurts floats it down the sideline. It's caught. Quez Watkins. And there's a flag back at the 48.
Yeah, this is going to be ineligible downfield because this was a run-pass option. And when Jalen Hurts extends the play and rolls out, those linemen are downfield. And so as beautiful a throw as that was, and it was beautiful, the structure of this play from Nick Sirianni, and he's got to talk with Jalen about this. You can't extend my RPOs because we're going to be in conflict, and it's going to be called back.
Going to wipe out a 24-yard gain. Let's see if they get Dickerson, the rookie.
Ineligible player downfield, number 67. It's a 5-yard penalty. Correction, 69. It's still first down. Game clock operator, please put 9 minutes and 47 seconds on the game clock. 9:47, please. Thank you.
That is, in fact, Dickerson. 11th penalty of the night against the Eagles.
So you see these guys are downfield, right? And there goes Jalen Hurts, and he's extending. It's a beautiful throw. Now, if he threw the ball in the flat on time, then those guys wouldn't have had time to get downfield, and that was the structure of the play.
So it's 1st and 15. Coming up on 9.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Hurts to throw. Rager couldn't haul it down. Trayvon Diggs has had himself a night tonight for Dallas.
Look, he just continues to sit on the short game, and you're going to see him out here just cluing into the quarterback. See his eyes? He's just reading the quarterback's eyes, and usually Jalen is bringing him to where he's throwing the football. And he gets a guy this good, you're going to have to manipulate him a little bit more than that.
He's a lot more confident than he was last year as a rookie.
Absolutely. He
is really physical all the way through the catch and through the ball. He has grown leaps and bounds from what we saw a year ago.
2nd and 15. Hurts loads up, looking for Devontae Smith. It's a jump ball, and it's knocked away. Devontae Kazee and Anthony Brown able to break it up. And the flag comes in. Hurts doesn't want to deal with Diggs, so he tries the other side.
Holding. Offense. Number 65. That penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
Now Micah Parsons going to put that one on his reel. He was looking forward to going up against Lane Johnson, the vet, and he finally got him there, and he got a holding call on Lane Johnson, which doesn't happen very often. There he's rushing on the outside, and Lane, that's a good call. That's just a persistent rush from Micah Parsons.
Third and 15, looking for a big conversion. It's Rager. Not even close. Kerr seals the deal. And there's a whole gathering on that Eagles bench.
The Dallas Cowboys are flying to the football, and they're playing in the spirit of Dan Quinn right now, which is about running and chasing and hitting the football and whoever's carrying the football. And they're feeling it right now. Ron Kerr sniffed that play out perfectly, and he was on the move in a hurry.
He's still down on one knee, too.
You're going to see it here, just a wide receiver screen. You see Kearse fighting through traffic. He made a beeline out to the perimeter as soon as the ball was snapped. He read it perfectly.
Yeah, that was Dallas Goedert pushing J-Ron Kearse, and he came back to talk to him about it.
And I don't think a flag was thrown on that.
No, that was a good job by both sides not getting into it, because you know Philly's frustrated, and you know Dallas is chirping. In a rivalry like this, surprised nothing happened.
Officials done a good job of keeping this game in check with the emotions high. Right from the opening kick. 4th and 9. Hurts trying to escape. Flag comes in. Hurts in trouble. 3 Cowboys wrap him up, make it 4. And it's Parsons on top, coming off the pile.
This is what Dan Quinn preaches. Just relentless pursuit.
Holding. Offense, number 77. That penalty is declined. First down, Dallas.
And these guys are able to get to an edge quickly. This is what offensive linemen are resorting to have to do. If someone gets on your edge quick, you see here Randy Gregory running the stunt. He's the penetrator, getting upfield as Odighizuwa comes back inside, and he has no other choice but to grab him and hold it.
This was a defensive line coming into this game that had not had a sack all year, and they were worried without DeMarcus Lawrence. Where are they going to get that production? And Randy Gregory and Micah Parsons and Odighizuwa, those 3 guys have shown up consistently tonight and got pressure on Jalen Hurts.
Well, what portends well for their future is the fact that you have 2 rookies out here right now that are really picking up the pace and the tempo, and they're not even at full strength, not even close to being at full strength. And when DeMarcus Lawrence and the rest of the crew comes back, this was a great opportunity for the young guys to show, hey, look, we can carry the water for a little while.
Well, the question is, what's Dan Quinn going to do? Is he going to take Micah Parsons back to the Mike linebacker position when he gets to Marcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory on the edges?
Pollard on the quick toss. Just short of that first down.
Look, Micah Parsons loves to play chess, right?
Yep.
He's the ultimate chess piece. You move him wherever you want, and that's the cool thing about drafting a guy who's kind of a hybrid linebacker defensive end anyway in today's game. At 6'3", 6'4", 248 pounds is what he told us he weighs.
I like moving him back to linebacker because then it becomes harder for offensive linemen and running backs to declare him. Is he a big or is he a linebacker? Do I have to have him in protection as a back? That's the last thing you want to do, but it just creates that indecision in your mind, and on 3rd downs, you can bring him from wherever you want.
3rd and 1. Dak to throw for it. He's got Schultz. First down and more. Schultz cuts it back in and into the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys.
When a team has run the ball on you like this over and over again, as a linebacker, you wind up saying, hey, look, I need to get involved. I need to insert against the run. And right here, he just turns loose, Schultz. And then comes back and misses the tackle. And see right here, this is where you know it's just not going to be your night.
Zerline buries it. Since the only Eagles offensive touchdown of the night, the Cowboys have responded with 2 touchdowns of their own. Trying to put this one away under 7 minutes to play. Schedule. How about these next 4 opponents? Chiefs, undefeated Panthers, Buccaneers, undefeated Raiders. The next 4 opponents for the Philadelphia Eagles, who trail 41-14 here to their arch rivals from Dallas. Time for tonight's Burger King King of the Moment, and the night belongs to Dak Prescott.
Look, Dak Prescott, he's been on it all night long, taking advantage of blown coverage assignments in the back end. Really hitting Dalton Schultz here down the sideline. See here, just scrambling, buying time, finding open receivers in the back of the end zone, hitting Schultz here again on another blown assignment there by the linebacker, Alex Singleton that time. Look, Dak Prescott, we said in the open that he really right now, he has total control of this offense. There's nothing that he doesn't have an answer for, and he showed you tonight what that looks like.
Well, we opened this broadcast talking about it's been almost a year since Dak played right here on this field and left the field in tears and without knowing what his future was going to be. His contract, didn't have a contract, and he's got a broken ankle, and he had to go through maybe the toughest offseason of his career, and he's gotten back to this point. And I was fascinated when we sat and talked with him, and Lisa actually asked him the question, how would you characterize this last offseason or what happened to you and coming back? And he said, the word he used floored me. He said it was a blessing. Like, imagine that frame of reference and that perspective for him to look at what he went through and all that pain as a blessing for him to get better as a player and as a person. It's amazing.
Guy who loves the challenge and being counted out, wants to prove to everyone he's all the way back, and he's proving it to himself here tonight.
And to me, this is not just, a comeback player of the year opportunity for Dak Prescott. We need to put that aside. This now, he is playing as good as he ever has and playing himself right into the MVP conversation this season.
Hurts to throw. Throws Rager open for the first down. Pick up a 24. And Hurts was being talked about for the MVP at the start of last season, too. He got off to the great start.
Dak, yeah.
Or rather, I beg your pardon, right. Yeah. Dak Prescott, and here he is again. I think starting on the road helped for the Cowboys this season. 2 great road performances by Prescott to come here for the home opener in the 3rd game.
Yeah, to tell you what really crystallized the kind of mental resolve this young man has is this. I asked him, what were the tears about when you were sitting on the cart and they were rolling you off the field? And he said, you know what? It was about the fact that I wasn't going to be able to play anymore. I had to leave the field. They were taking me off the field. And he said, you know what? Quickly, when I got in the back, my mind shifted quickly to what do I need to do? How do I need to get back? He said he said it happened that quick. And he said that may sound a little bit crazy. That may sound a little bit, a little bit messed up. But I quickly put a plan together. And his plan has worked out beautifully with the way he has started off this season.
He's different. There's no question about it. He's different.
Flags come in. Hurts throwing. The short completion to Gainwell.
Holding. Offense. Number 65. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And I can't imagine how hard it is for Dak to come back here and to deal with all this emotion. I mean, this is him during the national anthem.
Right.
And it's hard.
He said that would be the time tonight. He said during the anthem he would take some time to reflect really on the year it has been for him, right? Yep. We came to town last year. It was like a funeral here. It was the week after Dak was injured, and it was all sort of doom and gloom, and it was hard to picture getting back to this spot. But Prescott has, and he's got a lot going on in his world, in his life.
He was an impressive interview, an impressive guy to talk about. His presence is very, very strong. You sense it coming from him. He epitomizes a franchise quarterback in every sense of the word. You have to tip your cap to him because he has made it all the way back and then some.
It's Goddard. Another flag comes in. Another injured Cowboy down, too. Back of the 40.
Got a lot of laundry on just about every snap here now.
I think that's Micah Parsons up there on the field.
And everybody will grab a knee.
Yeah, good to see him get up.
Yes.
I think I'd give him the rest of the night off.
I was going to say in a 41-14.
Holding. Offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Let's all agree to give Micah the rest of the night off, okay?
Yeah, a big career in front of him. Let's see what happened.
Oh, he just got
Gainwell,
chipped.
Yeah, he took a shot in the ribs. You see him grab him instantly.
Take your breath away. You know, he was another great conversation this week, and I thought the most interesting thing that came out of those conversations was when we were talking with Dan Quinn, and everybody's saying, oh, Micah Parsons is taking over as the leader of this defense. And the answer is no, that's not happening. He may be the most talented and best player on this defense as a rookie, but as a leadership standpoint, he has a ways to go. As you see, Gainwell gets a couple of yards here on this screen. But we asked Dan Quinn, Dan Quinn asked Micah Parsons, would you follow you? And Micah says, no, I wouldn't follow me.
And everybody else would say yes, of course, because you think that's the answer the coach is expecting. So I appreciated his frankness.
And he said, listen, I got a lot to learn. I'm making mistakes, but I'm trying the best I can. But that's what I meant when I said earlier about Micah Parsons not necessarily being ready to be the leader of this team. They've got strong personalities in a Jalen Smith and others, and DeMarcus Lawrence. He doesn't have to be that right away.
And if Quinn was trying to coach him up on playing defensive end, and it came down to do this, and if you don't know, just go. Just go after the ball. And Parsons said, I can do that. And he has all night. Gainwell's become the go-to player here for the Eagles. First down, 3.5 to go.
Micah coming back into the game. Look, he said,
agree with us.
look, he said he loves to play. He doesn't care how many reps it is. He doesn't care how many snaps he takes. He just loves to play the game.
He doesn't care which game it is either, right?
That's right.
Chess,
Oh, he had some interesting choices as far as
he'll play any game. Anything where there's a winner or a loser. Here's Hurts throwing for the end zone. It's caught for the Eagles. Touchdown. It's Greg Ward. The quarterback turned receiver had the errant throw on the gadget play a week ago on 4th and goal from the 1.
This is a nice job of Jalen Hurts getting outside the pocket, telling Greg Ward to kind of work back towards him. He was at the back of the end zone.
Backyard ball right here.
Exactly.
Throwing that ball in between two defenders. Jordan Lewis had an opportunity to pick that off.
And for Greg Ward, that's his first catch of the season. They had run 16 routes for him, 0 targets. And when Hurts needed someone, he targeted Greg Ward Jr. for the touchdown. And the lead is, as it has been for most of the night, 20 points now by the Dallas Cowboys. So we came in talking about the great NFC East rivalry that I think might be the best of all the divisions in terms of each team having all severe rivalries. So there's winning the division. Last year a losing team came out and won the division. How good can these Cowboys be in the entire conference? Forget the division.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, what they did week 1 up against the Bucs was impressive. And the way that Dak played in that game was impressive. I thought they played really well. And now we know the Chargers are a legit team. And the Rams now in the NFC, you look at the best teams in the NFC, the Bucs, the Rams. Everybody's shoveling dirt on the Bucs. Please, don't do that. The Bucs will be there at the end.
Packers look pretty good too, yeah.
And so, I put the Cowboys now, if they can continue to stack successful wins, right behind those 3.
As this defense continues to get more and more comfortable with this scheme and all the nuance in this new Dan Quinn scheme, you know the offense is going to be there as long as they don't run into any streaks of bad luck as far as injured players or having anyone who's not available to them. But as they get comfortable on the defensive side, as DeMarcus Lawrence comes back, as they start to find creative ways to use Micah Parsons, this team could be a problem. It really could be a problem because I think the mindset has changed here, in particular on the defensive side, and I think that's exactly what they needed.
The Cowboys will get a good test next week against the Panthers. See how that works out. That's a good one. No Christian McCaffrey, of course. Lost J.C. Horn as well. Carolina did. But Matt Rule's got something going on in Charlotte now. Cooper Rush is in at quarterback. Corey Clement get the opportunity with the football as Dak's night is done. You look at the Cowboys' upcoming schedule. And after the Panthers, see that Giants, Patriots, Vikings until, I mean, look at the 3-0 teams in the NFL. Did you have the Broncos at 3-0?
Yes.
After their last couple of Septembers?
Listen, you played the Jets, the Giants, and the Jaguars. You should be 3-0.
Rough Septembers under Vic Fangio. Feels like the Broncos have figured out the early season.
You know what's really interesting about the Cowboys' schedule is the end. The last 5 weeks of the season, 4 out of the last 5 weeks are against the NFC East, so that's where that division's going to be decided.
See if that'll take us down to the 2-minute warning.
I think it's obvious where Dallas has come the furthest as far as their program build here under Mike McCarthy. The offense continues to ascend. The defense is trying to catch up, and that's really what's...
Total yardage is so misleading in this game tonight. The Cowboys have outgained the Eagles by merely 30 yards. And yet it's Dallas by 20. Flag comes in. You would think there would be some frustration by the Eagles. Let's see. They got a lot to be frustrated about.
After the play, personal foul, offense number 63, 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
Look, Nick Sirianni talked about to us the 5 core values that he believes in: connection, competitiveness, accountability, football IQ, fundamentals. Well, he's going to have some things to address with his football team.
How about the T-shirt? Is he going to have to address that? Are people going to bring that up as,
you know what?
as a factor?
I have no problem with him wearing the T-shirt.
I loved it, too.
He needs to. That's part of the connection that he was talking about. Being connected with his teammates, with his city, with the fan base, saying, look, I'm here. I'm invested. I care. He's just got to get more reinforcements and get his football team to play smarter for a full 60 minutes.
There's Rager from his 30. Get as far as the 34-yard line.
Well, you know, after last week, I mean, they went toe-to-toe with the 49ers.
Yes.
And they had an opportunity to win, and I don't have any problem with this, but what I liked about Nick Sirianni is he's embracing the rivalry. And here's the wall with all of the rivalries in the NFC East, and I like this. I think what is a rivalry about? It's about an extended period of competition, right, between two teams, and you don't always have that. And he's embraced it. The city of Philadelphia obviously loves that, and you're right, Lewis. He needs to be better, and it starts with him, the accountability. And based on what he did after last week's game, he looked at himself in the mirror and said, I dragged myself through the mud first before I said a word to the players, and there was a lot of blame to go around.
He had the rivalry while at Mount Union with John Carroll. Then he said he went to Ohio State and happened to be Michigan week and see all the highlights of Ohio State and Michigan, and so he carried that forward. I think the NFC East guys, you know, every division has one great rivalry, but I feel like all 4 teams have an even rivalry with each other in the NFC East. It seems so much more unique than other divisions.
Again, having been a part of the NFC East when I was in the front office for 12 years, every team in the NFC East, every other team looks forward to playing this team right here in Arlington. They look forward to playing the Cowboys. This is the one they always gear towards because of the fact that the notoriety that this team gets.
America's team,
exactly. Always on prime time. Always has the highest level of expectations preseason-wise. Jerry Jones, beautiful stadium. It all draws the rest of the teams pointing towards this game with them.
Well, let's be honest. Outside of the Cowboys, the rest of the NFC East did not look good this week. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Redskins defense. I think they're 31st in the league in defense. And the Giants laid an egg at the end against Atlanta yesterday. So, you know, if you're a Cowboys fan, it's all right there for the taking. Back to the playoffs.
I think in the NFC East, the biggest surprise for me is Washington football team's defense for sure. How they are just getting bludgeoned week after week after week. And that's a shocker, because they should be taking another step and being more competitive than what they have been, especially on that side of the ball. Dallas has answered the bell on the defensive side of the ball.
Brees, you owe me $1. You said Redskins.
Oh,
here's Hurts. Slips down.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Taken down, sure. I didn't want to let that slide by in the last 45 seconds. Dak is all smiles. Look at that. What a difference in emotion from the national anthem. And the Cowboys really feel like they're rolling, and the division is one thing. Dallas has not enjoyed playoff success. These Cowboys have not advanced past the divisional round since 1995.
And a great sign here from Mike McCarthy. Look at him in the huddle here to go out there and take the knee. Dak Prescott comes back after Cooper Rush was out on the field before. Old school, the offensive line went up and down. You saw that?
A little flex.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Landry flex.
There you go.
Little nod to the past here in Dallas, with just about every Cowboy great in the building. Watching Dallas handle Philadelphia tonight by 20. That's great. They're not enjoying this much in Philadelphia, I would imagine, Lewis.
No, look, that's a fan base. When you talk about accountability, they're going to hold this team accountable. They're going to expect Nick Sirianni to produce results. He's got to stay true to those 5 core values, Steve, and he's got to get more reinforcements and continue to build out this program.
Cowboys took care of the Eagles rather easily tonight, 41-21. Join us next Monday night as we cap off Week 4 when the Raiders, the undefeated Raiders, take on the Chargers. Talk to you next Monday night from SoFi. For John Parry, Lisa Salters, Louis Riddick, Brian Greasy, and our entire team, I'm Steve Levy. The producer's Phil Dean. Our director is Jimmy Platt. Monday night postgame presented by Abbott is coming up next.